Chicago.
Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming on the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish. Oh, that's it!
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
It's Title Talk renewed on Sunday Night Football. Your primetime matchup, a rematch of the quarterbacks in the 2023 CFP National Title game. Michael Penix Jr. and J.J. McCarthy now representing the hope of their respective cities. Joe Musso, pleased to be in studio alongside my guy, CBS lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones, the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden, and the 8-time Pro Bowler Patrick Peterson. Plenty to dive into in this one, but much of the talk, Mac, throughout the week has been about that man behind you, J.J. McCarthy, and the moxie he showed in those moments in Chicago a week ago. What are you looking forward to in the encore?
Getting up to a better rhythm. You know, what we saw last week in Chicago, the first three quarters of play was ugly for J.J. McCarthy. And then something clicked for him in the fourth quarter where he found his stride. He was throwing with confidence, and he made the necessary plays that they needed him to make to be able to win that ball game. So can we see that surface in the beginning of this ball game on a national stage? He should feel more comfortable because he is at home, but it's about being consistent. The way he played in the fourth quarter is what people expect from him there within the building in Minnesota from start to finish. So let's see, can he jumpstart the efforts faster than what he didn't do against Chicago?
Man, I love everything about this kid. I love his mindset. I love his poise. I love his attitude. I love what he even said in the beginning of the game. I'd rather be a warrior than a gardener as a warrior, however he said it, but it was phenomenal.
Warrior in a garden than a gardener fighting a war.
Whatever it was.
He's got the mindset.
It resonated with me.
I like that.
And like, as Max said, the first three quarters was very, very shaky. You know, he threw a pick six. You know, I love his leadership, going to the sideline, dapping up the offensive line, telling JJ, hey man, don't give up on me. Yeah. And something clicked in the fourth quarter. 21 unanswered points. He rushed one in, found guys in the back of the end zone. Like, you could just tell that this team has J.J. McCarthy's back. They love that he's their quarterback. And, like, again, the poise and the confidence that he plays with is just phenomenal.
It was such a signature moment for J.J. McCarthy in his first NFL start. And it's something that I have been wanting to see from Michael Penix Jr. so far in his career. Michael Penix Jr., and every time I say this, I know that it may not be fair. I'm still waiting on that moment, that highlight reel play that you can go back and say, that's the game, that's the day that Michael Penix Jr. announced himself to the league. He hasn't had that yet, and I'd love to see that on Sunday Night Football because we just saw it with McCarthy, and he has every bit of that talent. He has the ability to go out there and announce himself. And it's just been, you know, the Washington game last year, the Buccaneers game where, you know, he hasn't made that one player. The defense has let him down. So that is what I'm looking forward to. It's just going to be very difficult for him tonight against a team in the Minnesota Vikings with a defense coordinator by Brian Flores, right, who had Caleb Williams in stitches last week, right? Absolute stitches. And I think that he wants to do it again to a second-year quarterback.
Why are you kikiing like that's my cousin or something? I mean, you could have just laughed like normal. You didn't have to make you made that personal. Off of what JJ's saying here, it's a great point because quarterbacks are such a big part of these franchises' identities. But they're only a part of it. Even as personnel changes in Minnesota, it feels like an identity. Exotic blitz packages on the defensive end and a really, really sound offensive game plan from Kevin O'Connell. What is the effort that will find Atlanta's identity? The quarterback being a big part of it, but it still feels a little bit like I can't put my finger on what you're going to be as a franchise just yet.
So Bijan Robinson is probably one of the more underrated players across the NFL. When you compare what he did last year to what Saquon Barkley, who's on every commercial and on Madden and all those things, they compare pretty favorably, right? With the nod, of course, going to Saquon Barkley. But if you have this guy on a rookie contract, you're very happy about it. So much like the San Francisco 49ers offense is going to run through Christian McCaffrey, the Falcons, no matter what we're talking about with Michael Penix Jr. and his highlight reel moments, they will run through Bijan Robinson. But they're going to need some help at right tackle. because Caleb McGarry went down. He's out for the season. And that was an issue last week, and that will continue to be an issue tonight, both in the run and pass game.
Speaking of Caleb, he was their best run blocking offensive lineman. And he was missed last week because they had issues running the football. Bijan had that touchdown reception, but in terms of the running game, they didn't get anything going, and it put more pressure on Michael Penix, and they became one-dimensional against a heavily pass-rushing team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's what I'm looking for. Can they find a way to get Bijan going? Because, to your point, he's one of the more talented running backs in the National Football League. When you look at speed, athleticism, explosiveness, contact balance, he has all of those said attributes, but we just need to see it surface in tonight's matchup if they have any aspirations of winning this ball game, because the last thing you want to do against B-Flow and that defense is become one-dimensional when they know you're throwing the football more so than running the ball, and there lies the opportunity to see all these exotic packages surface where they try to confuse the quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I was going to hit on. You cannot depend on Penix going out there and throwing the ball 35 to 45 times and expect you to win the game. You have to have a balanced attack, especially against a Brian Flores defense, because you just don't know what you're going to get in coverage, in blitz, if it's going to be man, disguise, whatever the case may be. You just don't know what you're going to get. So they're going to have to lean on that running game heavily in this game to at least soften up that defense to help Michael Penix in the pass game.
But one thing, though, the Minnesota Vikings are without Andrew Van Ginkel tonight.
Yes.
He's out with a concussion. They're also missing Christian Darrisaw, which we expected. But the Brian Flores defense is a little less scary when he probably doesn't have what I would say is his favorite toy out there in Andrew Van Ginkel.
He was active in that Week 1 win over the Chicago Bears. Mac, I know it's your favorite thing to do. I don't know if you could do it in the double-breasted. Can I get a little
Well,
scroll?
I'm not picking them.
You're not picking them just yet. We're not doing the pick just yet. But
Well, you can do it.
I just I do it, they win.
I wanted a little ambiance.
That's
as
you
I was
playing
gonna
both
ask.
sides.
There we go. You start hearing that in prime time. You've been in it. What's Michael Penix going to be up against tonight? Not just in the 11 he's looking at, but in that building.
I'm telling you, man, Skull Nation is going to be in there. They're going to make it loud. They're going to make it tough for him. And that's just another element that's going to make it tough for Michael Penix to be successful in this game, because now he's going to have to communicate. Next thing you know, you got disguises. Therefore, you don't know what the defense is in, and now you got this crowd is in your ear going crazy, and now you have to communicate with all other 10 players on the field. That can probably put you in a mistake, but it's going to be hard for him trying to communicate in the bank.
A good friend of mine is a part of the Buccaneers staff. Not going to say to what level, but he's a part of the Buccaneers staff. And what he shared with me last week, he said Michael Penix is a top 5, top 7 quarterback in the National Football League right now. He said some of the things that he did that most people won't see is unbelievable, because he said they sent everything at him. He was pressured, he was harassed, and some of the throws he made from the pocket with pressure coming down the teeth of his face, and he never wavered, never blinked. He said, literally, top 5, top 7 quarterback.
I'd love to see
your
his
point,
list.
As I said, in quotes, but then he under it.
He's he. I can't say who's he is. But to what Pat is talking about, the atmosphere, sometimes those things bother certain players. And certain players, they love it. They utilize it as a motivational factor to go out and be at their best.
That's a great point. That'll be an interesting matchup to watch tonight, just Penix versus the moment, versus the ambiance of that stadium, versus the sound bouncing off the walls. As we look at this matchup, is there a place your eyes go as you're picking apart what you want to see tonight matchup-wise?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see a lot of Michael Penix Jr. with the hands over the ears, right? That's what we're going to see. Hopefully, though, he doesn't have his hands over his eyes, because one of the things I'm looking forward to is watching Minnesota Vikings in these throwback uniforms. They are in their Vikings classics, so one of the best uniforms out there. No, but seriously, I am very interested in exactly what we talked about. Brian Flores and what he's going to be able to throw at Michael Penix Jr., as well as, of course, if we're keeping it at quarterbacks, can J.J. McCarthy pick up where he left off, or is he going to be the J.J. McCarthy from quarters 1 through 3 that we saw last week?
Hey, I will say this, too. I remember last year when they played Michigan in the championship, which was
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yep. So who was the defensive coordinator? It wasn't Shula, was it?
No, for Michigan, the DC is now at with the Chargers. I forgot
Jesse
his name.
Minter.
Yeah, Jesse Minter. He was the DC for Michigan.
Michigan was one of the highest blitzing teams last year with fire zones, and he made some throws in that game.
Against Michigan.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And standing in the teeth of the defense, taking blows and delivering the ball where it needs to be. It was one throw in that game. It was 2 high safeties, and he put it right in between of both of the safeties and took a blow right to the face. So
He'll need a couple of those tonight.
And another thing, too, we can't forget about, remember when they played last year, Atlanta's secondary had no answer for Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson.
Right.
And granted, Jordan Addison was a part of that game. He's not participating. But can their secondary be better? Because outside of A.J. Terrell, they have some issues on the opposite end in terms of the cornerback. We saw Emeka Egbuka have his way against this secondary for the Atlanta Falcons. So can they be better? Because they have A.J. Terrell, but they're still trying to figure out consistency outside of Terrell.
It's A.J. on J.J. and then everything else.
It'll all add up to a result. We can't wait to watch it go down. We'll have highlights coming up on CBS Sports HQ when they go final. But we got more to come as J.J. McCarthy.
Bro, look at these uniforms.
It's so good. It's so good.
I think you should get a jersey.
I feel like our fellas have tipped their hands, but we got picks coming next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City High. Superb finish. Oh, that's it! Mix of it.
Unbelievable strike.
And that's surely the Scudetto.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Back on CBS Sports HQ, where we are looking for prime performances in prime time. J.J. McCarthy can be the first quarterback since the year 2000 to start his career 2-0 with both wins coming in prime time. As my partner in crime, Bryant McFadden, often says, it's a primetime matchup, cuz
we're in it.
That's right. We got two good ones in it tonight. We got to put a pick to it, fellas. This kick is fast approaching. Around the horn, Falcons versus Vikings. Who wins and why?
Score! And they win because of the reason I'm going to go J.J. McCarthy. I feel like he's going to have a big game and follow up that performance he had in the fourth quarter. And Brian Flores, I believe he's going to send the kitchen sink at the young fella and see if he can handle it.
Pat, which one of these teams did you play with before in your career?
Minnesota.
Dolphins. I don't know if they were.
Just wanted to give that to the jury right away to discredit his previous claims. That tells me you are.
I'm taking ATL.
Yeah.
Hotlanta. The reason why I'm taking Hotlanta because I believe they have the better quarterback in this matchup. No knock to J.J. McCarthy, but I just believe Michael Penix is like that. And I think he will showcase his skill set. And also having Darnell Mooney back in the lineup. They really missed his production last week. He's healthy. You pair him up with Drake London, not to mention Kyle Pitts as well. I think they're going to find their stride offensively and make the necessary plays against that blitz concept they will see.
And remind me, you live where?
Doesn't have anything to do with it.
That's my case. Maybe unbiased arbiter of the truth, Jonathan Jones. Who do you think comes away with the win?
Thank you for that. Pat, what year is this?
2025.
And people still say Hotlanta. That's interesting. Speaking of years, back in the 1960s and 1970s, the Minnesota Vikings used to wear a jersey with a deeper purple, perhaps larger numbers with nice gold trim on it. Well, they're wearing those jerseys tonight in 2025, Week 2 against the Atlanta Falcons. And for every reason that this man, Patrick Peterson, just espoused, I will back it up and say the Minnesota Vikings will win tonight.
Hold on. We don't need you to break the tie. We know you're the coach. But the last time, last Sunday, I was the lone wolf.
Yeah.
Oh!
You were the lone wolf.
I was the lone wolf.
This is a whole new week, man.
No.
It used to be Penix in purple. Now it's J.J. McCarthy. Trying to be a winner at home in prime time. That's it for Primetime Pregame. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Here's a look at that head-to-head between these two in that national title game that went the way of the Fighting Harbaughs, 34-13. Just 18 attempted passes for J.J. McCarthy, who had no touchdowns to no turnovers, but it was plenty as the Wolverines claimed that elusive national title. Who will take Act 2 tonight in Minnesota? More to come here on CBS Sports HQ. All the latest news and notes out of the NFL, including one major injury in Cincy. All the details coming next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City on. Superb finish. Unbelievable strike. And that's surely the Scudetto now.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount+.
Packers fans rejoice. It turns out the Green Bay Packers are pretty serious after another Week 2 smackdown. That's how the week got started. Welcome into Game Day Recap. Week 2 of the NFL, certainly bringing the heat when it comes to some of those Sunday scores, so I'll point them out to you. We went from the Dolphins nearly being held scoreless in Week 1, and then they turn around and almost beat the Patriots. We're going to break that one down for you as well. Aaron Rodgers, Week 2 performance not as strong as Week 1. We'll break down that one, what went wrong, what went right in that matchup. The Eagles, the Chiefs, we had a Super Bowl rematch there. There's a lot to get to. I'm Haley Sutton. Let me introduce you to our crew while we're at it. I heard on social media a little birdie didn't know who Damian Harris was, so let me introduce you to our two-time national champion, our three-time SEC champion, and of course, the Alabama alumni NFL running back Damian Harris joining us fresh off of his second baby. Damian, welcome.
Thank you.
Claps are in order. We've also got Rand Carthan joining us, our steady ship, our steady voice we learned from a week ago. And Pete, you need no introduction. How do we feel about the Dolphins?
They're bad. The coach is in trouble because they play the Bills on Thursday.
Tough. We're going to get into all of that. But, of course, I want to start the conversation with the Super Bowl rematch that we just watched unfold. Guys, the Eagles getting it done. They are now 2-0. Patrick Mahomes, meanwhile, now 0-2 for the first time since he was in college. We'll get into all of that. But, Pete, initial reactions, is the dynasty dead in Kansas City?
No, way too early for that. But they have problems. And we talked about it all day today. They don't have any weapons. He's doing it by himself. And the one weapon that he does have, and Travis Kelce drops the ball in the end zone that should have been a touchdown, and the complexion of that game changes. They take the lead. So are they done? Absolutely not. Are they as dominant as they've been in the past? No chance.
And I think that, echoing off of everything that you just said from the offensive perspective, when you look at the defense, Spags still has the Kansas City Chiefs in a good position defensively. They didn't let the Philadelphia Eagles just throw the ball all over the field. They didn't let Saquon run the ball all over the field. I know he had close to 100 yards, but they were stiff. They were firm. They had good blitz packages. They had good coverage patterns. A.J. Brown, quiet day. Devontae Smith, semi-quiet day. So, again, Pat needs some help on offense. Defensively, they're fine, and I think that's why the dynasty is still alive in some regards.
Yeah, you were really impressed with Patrick Mahomes. Rand, what stood out to you in this one when it comes to the Chiefs and the rest of the season, especially when you look at this schedule coming up here? How are you feeling? Give me a vibe check.
Well, I mean, I agree with what everyone has said already. It's too early. They are still the Chiefs. This is still Patrick Mahomes. And him not having weapons today, he still made plays when he had to. But I want to ask the room this question.
Okay.
All right, if I told you that Philly was held to 217 yards, Jalen Hurts had 101 yards passing, no touchdowns, would you have said they had won that game?
Absolutely not, especially not if they're playing the Chiefs.
And so, but that to me, that was how Philly has a dirty win today. It was a dirty work win. I thought both teams struggled on third down. Kansas City was 4 of 12. Philly was 5 of 14. But to me, the biggest difference in this game was red zone efficiency. Philly was 2 of 2, and KC was 1 of 2, and the one miss that they had was the interception to Andrew Makuba, which led to points for Philly. So it's still too early from the Kansas City side, but because this is still a good championship Philly team that they played against. But when they get their weapons back and they get everyone healthy, they're going to be a problem late in the season.
And that's it, by the way. I thought they'd be an explosive offense this year when you have Hollywood Brown, you have Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice. Now, Rice gets the suspension, changes that quickly. You knew he'd get some suspension, but you didn't know how long. And then Worthy goes out in week 1. Now they don't stretch the field. Now Thornton had the big play down the field, but they do not stretch the field. And when everybody plays in a phone booth, it's easy to defend them.
And to go off of both of your points, and yours especially when you talk about the red zone and why Philly had success, it's because they run the football and they use Saquon once they get inside the 20. Obviously, we know they use Jalen Hurts once they get inside the 5, once they get inside the 2. But one thing for Kansas City, especially with the lack of explosive playmakers in the pass game, you have got to find a way to get the run game going. And I know that hasn't been a point of emphasis for Kansas City in the past because you've had Patrick Mahomes, you had Travis Kelce. For a while, you had Tyreek Hill, so you never really had to worry about the run game. But now when you're depleted of your pass catchers and your explosive playmakers, well, then what do you turn to? And it really looks like Patrick Mahomes is the most effective runner when he's scrambling really for his life.
Can I just give some love to my running back?
The
brother?
running backs. I was going to say, let's bring a running back onto the set to talk running backs.
He's a running back hater. We'll pray for you.
Draft him, run him into the ground, then draft another one.
That's always your method.
It's going to be a long year with Pete. It's going to be a long year with Pete.
All right, so still some questions there when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. We will push ahead, though, that schedule we showed it. Giants, Ravens, Jags, Lions, their next 4. I want to talk about the Colts, guys. Say it with me. Daniel Jones is 2-0 as a starter in Indianapolis. And I can't remember which one of you it was, but one of us when we in the pregame show was like, are the Colts good? Are they
that was
back?
me. That was me. Because now, for me, I grew up a Colts fan. Being from Kentucky, I love Peyton Manning. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I loved Marvin Harris Sr. I loved all those guys, right? Get them mixed up. But now to see Daniel Jones start 2-0 with Indianapolis, I mean, especially with all the criticism at the quarterback position with Anthony Richardson, and now a guy who seemed like he was on the last leg of his career, still early, still young, showing some life in Indianapolis and getting things done. It's a good thing to see.
I mean, he's played 2 great games in a row. Think about that. If you would have said Daniel Jones played 2 great games in a row and they were 2-0 before the season, you would have said, well, he was in a quarterback competition with Anthony Richardson. How could that possibly be? They have a lot of weapons. Their offensive line is good. You know, they had change on that offensive line, and both those guys that have changed in there, Bortolini the center and Conclaves the right guard, they've been really good so far for them. If you can run the ball, and they did with Jonathan Taylor, and you have a quarterback. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. They had some problems running him too much, but the bottom line is if you could run it, have a good offensive line, and have some weapons, all Daniel Jones has to do is manage the game, and he's doing more than that right now.
Grant, let me ask you this just real quick, because when we're talking about Daniel Jones, we're talking about where he has this Colts team. To your point, a team that had no expectations to start the year. The last time the Colts were 2-0 was 2009. They went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm picking? You're picking up what I'm putting down here. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because it's week 2. Is there some hope maybe for the fan base that this team could do the same? You're looking at me crazy, but I have to ask the question to our GM on set.
Listen, I'll say this. It's enough for them to be encouraged about, but it's way too early.
Okay.
Way too early. We're not going to put Daniel Jones in the same vein as Peyton Manning. We're not going to do that. Not going. And you said it was too much. In the words of Luther Vandross, it's never too much.
It's never
too much. It's never too much. Today, Jonathan Taylor accounted for 215 total yards, 165 on the ground, 50 receiving, and this is their recipe for winning. This is how you're going to have to win because the makeup of this team as a whole, Daniel Jones does not have to win the game for you. He just has to play good, sound, efficient, and that's what he was today. 23 of 34, 316 yards, had a touchdown in the air, had another touchdown on the ground, and the most important stat of the day, no turnovers. And that's how you're going to have to play in this division particularly and to be able to make the playoffs in the AFC.
Well, that's compare him to 2009 when he was a bandwagon front-runner jumping fan back then. Come on, you can't do that to Daniel Jones.
We did talk, though, as we were prepping for this one. It wasn't all good for Shane Steichen, particularly on that final drive. It got a little wonky there when they were okay with going for the 60-yarder here. But, Pete, you took issue even before they attempted that 60-yard. So walk us through just the play calling there by the Colts at the end, why you were so frustrated, I guess.
Okay, you get to 1st and 10 at the 43, and you have all 3 of your timeouts. You run it with Taylor. Okay, I'm okay with that. You run it on 2nd down? And then you come back and you run it on 3rd down? So what you're essentially saying is I'm okay with a 58 to 60-yard field goal. Well, you can't play that way. They got away with it because there was a penalty on the kick that he missed from what, 60? Mm-hmm. And so you have to play it. You're going to go get it down to where it's a 50-yard field goal and in. It can't be a 60-yard field goal. I know these kickers are amazing, and I love the fact they all have big legs.
You already cut one in week 1.
Well, and if we find another one, we'll cut him too. But the bottom line is you can't play it for a 60-yard field goal. If you do that consistently, you're going to have a problem. By the way, you had a couple other instances where you had some mistakes in that game, and we'll get to them later, but at the end of the game, they got away with it.
And I do want to say something. They did get away with it, and I'm surprised that they did because the lack of awareness in an end-of-game situation from a Sean Payton coach team to have a penalty for attacking the snapper on a field goal. Like that's something you learn or you go over the first day of training camp. And when you talk about those end-of-game situations, you practice them all the time, and they rarely come up. But when they do come up, it can cost you just like it cost the Denver Broncos today.
I'll say this, and that was a great point, because not only was it a penalty, it was a 15-yard.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't 5, it wasn't 10.
5. That was a big difference. But to your point you made, Pete, and these kickers, big legs, big leg kickers that we probably have never seen before in our game. I do think there's a zone where we're starting to settle for too many 60-yard field goals instead of continuing to play situational football in the game situations and just chipping away at the yards, like you said.
It's not a luxury anymore to have that kind of kick.
Correct. And so now you're seeing too many situations where, like Pete said in the Indy game, in a normal situation, you're not going to run, and then kick a 60-yard field goal. You're going to get as many yards as possible, maybe center the ball, get the ball to the spot where the kicker likes it. But let's just see how this goes for the rest of the year. It's cool and it's great and it's fun for us to talk about and watch, but I think we are in an area where we're probably trying to settle for too many of these 60-plus.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's because teams are more willing to go into overtime? Because that's usually when we see it, at the end of a game, more so than end of half. Because I feel like when I watch teams in end of half situations, they're more aggressive because they want to get the last possession of the first half, second half swing. But when it comes to the end of the game, it's just like, okay, listen, we're going to kick a 65-yarder. If we miss, the worst thing that happens is we're going to go into overtime. I don't know that mentality because I'm trying to win in regulation. I'm not trying to take it to extra time, extra plays, extra anything. I'm trying to win in regulation.
Hey, you're coming from the Herm Edwards school. You play to win the game. But I think that luxury comes because you have these kickers with the big legs now. And so instead of putting your team in a situation where you can lose the ball, you just settle for the 60-yard field goal.
But here's the other thing: is Steichen got away with it? If he doesn't get away with it, you can imagine what the week's going to be like, and tonight would have been like for him. They would have questioned him every bit of the way. So he gets away with it. I still question him because I think in the end you have to do it the right way, and he didn't do it the right way.
We did this last week when it came to Cam Ward. I asked you guys to give me a vibe check when it comes to the Broncos defense, or just the Broncos in general after this one. Are we giving a thumbs up, thumbs down, midway through? How are we feeling?
Today?
After today, how we feel?
So far this season, I'd say like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going.
I would say
this is our move right here.
Well, I would say midway, but I would lean a tick towards thumbs down.
Correct.
And the only reason there's a lot of reasons you can say, but my main point is going to be the injury to Pat Surtain. And listen, I know we talked about this. He probably went in the locker room. He probably got a nice little injection of something that made him feel good for the time being. But again, that'll be something to monitor this week, weeks moving forward.
Also, the front seven's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And they got pushed around today. They just dominated. And I mean, when you get pushed around the way they got pushed around, that's a red flag.
All right, so some questions about that dominant Broncos defense that we talked all preseason about. We also have some questions really for both of these teams. Panthers-Cardinals, what the heck did we watch? I mean, we all sat up there and it felt, I don't want to put this out there, but it felt like the officiating crew wanted the Panthers to win that game. There were flags left and right ran. Ultimately, though, who do you give more credit to? The Cardinals for finishing it out, or the Panthers for blowing it there at the end?
I'm going to straddle the fence here. I'll be a selfie man. I'm going to straddle the fence here. But here's why. For the Cardinals to take the next step, especially in the NFC West, you have to learn how to win these games and close out these games. And whether they had help or not, I don't know if I'm eligible to get fined for saying and questioning officiating.
Not anymore.
But I'm still not going to do it. But they found a way to finish the game, and they did. But the reason why I said straddle the fence is because Carolina didn't go down without a fight. And Bryce Young had them in the game to win it late. They recovered an onside kick. I mean, what was the percentage? It's a single-digit chance.
I think it's the first one all year.
And it's a single-digit chance that you're going to recover the onside kick, and they were able to. And so he had them in the game, especially at a point where it looked like the game was going to be out of reach. And they fought to go to get back into the game. So to me, this is a situation, a great opportunity for this young Carolina team to learn from, especially playing that type of game on the road.
Well, you know what? They gave out a little tiny trophy for the winner of the Tiny Bowl. I mean, I'm tiny, so I can make that joke. I can make that joke. Kyler Murray went to the stage and he got a little tiny trophy for the winner of the Tiny Bowl. I mean, look.
And Pete gave it to him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You the first recipient,
to give it to him, too, by the way.
Stop it.
Look, the Cardinals have to learn how to close out games because they dominated that game. And at the end, they were in the game. Remember a week ago at New Orleans, they dominated the Saints and found the Saints throwing shots into the end zone with a chance to win that game. 2-0, though. The Cardinals are 2-0. Think about that.
First time since 2021.
And that's an amazing stat right there in itself, but they got to be a better football team within that division moving forward.
I've got to say, I'm more impressed with the Carolina Panthers because you talked about them not giving up, right? How easy would it be for Bryce Young to quit?
Yeah,
How easy would it be for him to just throw in the towel and talk about he's been benched, he's been drafted to one of the worst organizations in the NFL, he hasn't got a fair share of the meal, and he just keeps going out there and he just keeps playing, They talk about he's the same size as Pete Prisco. He can't see over anybody, can't throw over anybody. They talk about all these things. Well, where's the Bryce magic that we saw at Alabama? Well, granted, we're not seeing it right now, but again, he doesn't quit. He shows up for his team time and time again. And then when you look at a young receiver like Tet, hopefully they can keep that duo together, because just like you said, Pete, this is an opportunity that they can learn from and grow from as we move forward.
I'm trying to figure out if someone's agreeing with you or not on that take.
I'm going to say
my wife's telling me she likes my takes.
Real quick, because for a game and a half, he was awful, because he was bad against Jacksonville and he was bad in the first half. It got loose, it got out of control. The Cardinals kind of backed off and he put up some big numbers, but he did fight. You're right about that.
All right, we're gonna figure out who's trying to get a hold of you.
You're in trouble over there.
Someone's in trouble.
My son must be crying. I need to call him in the break in.
We got to hit a break here on Game Day Recap. But when we come back, all this talk about kickers being the hero, my kicker, the best of the best. Brandon Aubrey surviving the Giants. We're going to talk about it after the break.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City on. Superb finish. Unbelievable strike. And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tong skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Game Day Recap, the game that had all my attention. Giants-Cowboys. Dak Prescott does not lose to the Giants, but he almost lost today, guys. How about Russell Wilson stepping up, airing this one out to Malik Neighbors? 25 seconds on the clock. He hauls it in. 48 yards. Russ is like, I'm him. I'm that dude. But Cowboys Nation, have no fear. We have that dude as well on our roster. Brandon Aubrey banging out a 64-yarder. That would send this one to overtime. I want to emphasize Cowboys going to overtime against the Giants. Jerry loves it. I guess I love it too. So here we go. Overtime. Game winner. Brandon Aubrey lining up again. And it's easy. This one from 46. Cowboys survive New York in week 2. They moved to 1-1 after losing to the Eagles in week 1. They bounced back against the Giants. I mentioned Dak Prescott and how he rarely loses to the Giants. Certainly excitement there from the front office. Excited to see this stat as well. There's the number, 14 consecutive wins against the New York Giants. Dak was asked about this before the game. He just said sometimes a little bit of familiarity allows you to be successful against other teams. But I certainly am not satisfied with this performance. As we welcome you back into our CBS Sports HQ studios. Haley Sutton, Damian Harris, Rand Carthen, and Pete Prisco. Guys, this is certainly not the way that I thought Week 2 would start, especially after the Cowboys played so tough against the Eagles in Week 1. Damian, you're to my left, and I know how much you love America's team, so I'll give you first word here. Where's your concern meter when it comes to how the Cowboys had to win this game?
I wouldn't say it's very high. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, Haley, we have to realize a win is a win is a win is a win. And I asked you earlier, when is the last time the Cowboys have not finished the season in a disappointing fashion? So you have to take the wins when you get them. It was not pretty. It might not have been the way you wanted it to be, but at the end of the day, you fought. The Giants did almost everything they could to extend this game. Russ, outside of the turnovers, he played phenomenal. You take away those 2 picks, there are no notes. 450 yards, 140 passer rating. What is there to say? Both defenses did somewhat of a decent job with each offense, but at the end of the day, if you're a Cowboys fan, you have to just be excited that you got to win. You beat a team that is a rival of yours, and again, Dak.
And now we have Brandon Aubrey on the roster to save the day, fellas. I know last week we talked about CeeDee Lamb. Wasn't all that effective, but he did have some nice catches here. Pete, you took issue with some of the play calling from the Colts, kind of a similar boat here you had with Brian Schottenheimer. What did you think of his second game?
Well, I think at the end of the game he called a run. And then to settle for the 64-yard field goal. I don't understand that. I mean, look, Brandon Aubrey's a great kicker. Don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic kicker. He can make the 64-yard field goal. But why put it on that? Why not try and throw a quick out for another 5, 6, 7 yards and make it a much more manageable field goal? Again, it's overthinking it when you settle for an inside run. And it was a draw play, I think, and he got tackled for about 5 yards. But why not try and get 10 yards and make the field goal easier? He would have had more time. And by the way, he let the clock run down a little bit.
But I want you to look at this, because I feel you maybe on some of the other kickers, but when you think about what Brandon Aubrey has been able to do in his short time in the NFL, I mean, he's got 2 of the league's longest kicks, and he's been in the league for, 3 years at this point? Can you change the game plan a little bit, knowing that you have Brandon? No, not at all.
No. You got to get him 5 more yards. Make it much more manageable. That was way too conservative, at least in my mind. By the way, we talk about the Cowboys. You guys are Cowboys fans.
It's me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's her.
It's me.
She's the Cowboy fan.
But the bottom line is they turned Russell Wilson into Dan Marino in his prime.
We're going to talk about Russell Wilson.
That's the biggest concern about the Cowboys.
I want to give you last word on the Cowboys, unless you want to go ahead and jump over to Russell Wilson. Your world, Rand.
Well, I'm going to segue, and I'm going to roll both together. Okay. To me, the biggest concern for this Cowboys team is that defense. And it's not just because of the amount of yards that they gave up today, because we talked about it. Russ had 450 yards, I think 3 touchdown passes, but you had 8 plays of 24 yards or more that this defense gave up. But listen, this is a division game. These games are crazy. They're up and down. But Dallas has to pay attention to this defense, and they're going to have some concerns there. And I know there's some stuff that came out while we were watching the game of them trying to address areas already that they feel like they need to take a better look at. But Russell Wilson, for everything that Pete said about him last week.
We were getting there. We have the
For everything that Pete said about him last week, Russ stepped up and played about as good a game as he could play. Before the last play in overtime where he kind of tried to tuck the ball and the ball went backwards, lateral or whatever you want to call it, that was the most yards he had thrown for since 2017. Mm-hmm. And he was playing out of his mind. Damian can tell you, it's those games, because Pete's never played the game. You know?
Oh, wait, he went there.
So,
don't disrespect me like that.
Rand or Ryan? Rand or Ryan? Who we got here?
I will say my initials are RC. But
yeah, but by the way, I hate to tell you guys, we're all on the same team now, in case anybody's wondering.
Oh, my God. Get us back on track. Russell Wilson.
But those are the games where you're just in a zone, mm-hmm. and you're just playing at a level that you can't explain why you're doing what you're doing. And that's why Russell threw that interception late, because I'm looking at it here. Donovan Wilson, the safety, 3 of those deep balls that went for touchdowns were on him. And so Russ went right back to the well, and the ball just got away from him. He hung it inside, and then when Donovan Wilson needed to make a play for his defense, he did. But You can say what you want to say about Russ. He played a heck of a game today, put up a ton of points. And so to you, Pete Prisco, you know what Russ said to you. That's all I'm gonna say.
I was going to actually give you the floor here because this time last week you were telling us that Russ was done. He's a backup. He can't do anything. And then today I want to make sure I get his stat line correct. Only 9 incompletions, 451 yards to Rand's point, the most that he's thrown since that 2017 game. He had 3 touchdowns, interception. His 5th 450-yard passing game in history. So where are we at with Russ?
Look, he played well today. Do you believe in him?
Did he save his job?
For now. Do you believe in him? Because if you believe in him, he's 0-2. He played well today. When the game was on the line, what did he do? He threw one backwards, and he threw an interception. And Donovan Wilson, the same guy that got torched on all those plays, made the play when he had to make it. So, look, I'm going to give him props. He played well for most of that game. And those are situations that are tailor-made for him. When he can throw long pop-ups against the easy coverage. I mean, that's what he does. Let me ask you this. Do you honestly believe Russell Wilson is going to take the Giants anywhere?
That's neither here nor there.
No,
I'm going to answer your question because we talked about it last week, and I know you're pushing for the rookie to see him, and I understand that. But again, it's about what's around him, right? And Russell Wilson did his part today, and he got everyone involved. But he still needs more weapons around him, whether it's him, whether it's Jameis, whether it's Jackson Dart. They're going to need weapons around them to make this thing work. And so that's the part I don't believe in. I don't believe in everything that's around him.
And to that point, once the game got on the line, once Russ started pressing, you saw him just with that mentality of, screw it. Malik Neighbors is down there somewhere. I'm just going to chuck it up and throw him the ball. And I think that emphasizes your point. There needs to be other guys because we know the Cowboys knew when the game is on the line, the ball is going to number 1. So they need somebody else, whether it's Wan'Dale Robinson.
Well, he had a good game today,
but he wasn't effective enough to where when the game is on the line, there's confidence to go to him when one is double covered.
Look, it was a great game. I think I'll be honest with you, it's a one-off. You're not going to get close to that from him. You're going to get, it's more like what you saw last week. That's what I think.
I'm going to just get a montage of everything you have to say about Russell Wilson, and we'll see how long.
When he's sitting on the bench in week 7, come talk to me.
We're just going to create a CBS receipt of Pete's comments. It's just going to get.
Hey, there's plenty of good ones, plenty of bad ones, believe me.
Well, we're going to go to another bad coach when we come back here on Game Day Recap. Pete Prisco, not a fan of the orange jerseys, and Mike McDaniel, and boy, that seat continues to heat up. Another L in Miami. We'll break it down. And is Mike McDaniel's job on the line? Come on back.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City on. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Caught up with the latest HQ headlines. We're going to start in college football. 2 head coaches lost their job on Sunday. First, UCLA firing Deshaun Foster just 3 games into his second season. The Bruins are off to an 0-3 start. They were dominated by New Mexico in a 35-10 loss on Friday in LA. Tim Skipper, who is the special assistant to Foster, will be the interim coach for the remainder of this season. Elsewhere, Virginia Tech fired head coach Brent Pry after a grisly 0-3 start. The latest defeat came at home to Old Dominion on Saturday. Pry finishes his tenure in Blacksburg with a 16-24 record over 4 seasons. Offensive coordinator Philip Montgomery will serve as the interim. And over to baseball, the Phillies clinched their 4th consecutive postseason berth thanks to the Giants losing to the Dodgers. Earlier on Sunday, Philly lost to the Royals. Their magic number to clinch the NL East remains at 1. The Phillies are the 2nd team to clinch a playoff spot after the Brewers. Well, the seat is certainly heating up for Mr. Mike McDaniel. There he is, looking cool in his sunglasses. Wonder if he'll feel this cool if his job is not still there. Miami falling to 0-2. Tua Tagovailoa picks up his first loss to the Patriots. And how about this? This was pregame, guys. Fans flying over Hard Rock Stadium. Fire Greer, file McDaniel. Pete Prisco's been calling for that for all summer. What is it? Certainly things, the wheels falling off a little bit out in South Florida. And we pick up the conversation right there with the crew. Guys, this just goes from bad to ugly. It's the first home opener loss under Mike McDaniel. Dolphins' first 0-2 start since 2019. You kind of expected this?
Well, I didn't expect them to be as bad as they are. And this is a team, when you look at them, they're worse than I thought they would be. And I thought they would be at least 1-1 maybe at this point. But the way they play, they just look lost at times. And it doesn't look like there's any consistency to it. I go back to the discipline. I'm a big guy on coaches instilling discipline in a team. You played for Belichick. You know, you've been around the league. Discipline, discipline, discipline. This team lacked it, and now they tried to have it. You can't go from one to the other. You can talk all the talk you want. We're going to go on an 11-day trip. We're going to bond together. We're going to do this. No. You have to either instill that. When you become the coach, you can't change who you are. And guys look right through you. If you try and, you know that. If you're trying to be something you're not, that's a problem. They go to Buffalo Thursday. If they play the Bills Thursday and it's ugly and they get whacked, I wouldn't at all be shocked to see him make a change.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. And I even look at the players. Where's the leadership? Who is the leader of this team? You would think that it would be Tua, but he, from what I've seen, what I've heard of him, doesn't look like a leader to me. No accountability for turnovers that he has made that is on tape. The eye in the sky does not lie. Defensively, you've got a guy back in Minkah Fitzpatrick, but he hasn't really made an impact since the trade with the Steelers for Jalen Ramsey. So I'm looking on both sides of the ball. Pete, you're right. They always look lost. I mean, Mike McDaniels is a lost cause. We can sit up here and talk about the hot seat. He's out of here. He needs to be gone.
Would you play for Mike McDaniel? If this situation was what it was and you were still in the league, is Mike McDaniel a guy, because we've been talking about the culture there and them not respecting him, would you feel similarly?
I would want out of there as fast as possible, because from, you know, whether it's Mike McDaniels, whether it's Tua, whether it's the defense, whatever it is, this is an organization that has no foundation. They have no plan. They have nothing to build on. There's no direction. There's no discipline. There's no execution. And for me as a player, if I'm honoring my small window of opportunity that you have, because we know the NFL stands for not for long, I would not want to be in a place that is a complete dumpster fire, which is where Miami is.
But if you're on another team and they paid you enough money, you'd go there.
Well, yeah, I mean, now, come on. What are we talking about here, Pete? What are we talking about?
Yeah, Pete? It's smart.
I want to kind of add add another layer to this, though, Rand, because it's not just Mike McDaniel that people are upset with, right? Like, it's the flashy clothes and the energy, like, that is that. But it's also been Chris Grier. And the thing that Dolphins fans specifically have sort of held on his head is the fact that 3 years ago he said there was nothing wrong with the offensive line, and yet here you go a few seasons later to racks up the concussions. I mean, so from that standpoint, is this, Rand, just an overhaul? We need to bring in someone new here? How much is Chris Grier responsible for what we're seeing?
Well, I mean, I think if you're going to place blame, you got to place blame on the entire operation, right? Because Chris Grier is executing Mike McDaniel's vision. Whatever the vision is, it's his job, it's his staff's job to go out and find those players that fit that vision. So if you're going to make a move with one, you got to make the move with other because they share responsibility there. But to a point that Damian was talking about from the players in the locker room, where's the leadership there? To me, it doesn't matter who your head coach is. It doesn't matter who your GM is, the president, even the owner. When it comes down to that locker room and you know you have to go out and take the field on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, all of that doesn't matter. You should be playing for the guy next to you, the guy across the way from you in the locker room. And regardless of what you feel about the head coach, you should be playing for your brothers next to you. And that, to me, has been the most disappointing part. Because I agree, I don't know where the leadership is in the locker room. And there's always going to be a problem if no matter who the GM is or the head coach is, when you're leaning towards the coaches to be the leaders and lead this team, then you have no chance to win. The leadership has to come from within that locker room. That's
not a good football team. A team that has to be motivated by their coaches, by the personnel, by the GM. If that's what you've got to depend on, you don't have a good football team. And I just want to say something, because this is weighing heavy on my heart, and I just cannot let this segment go without talking about this. Everything that we're saying, everything that we're talking about, lack of discipline, lack of leadership, lack of everything, really, from a standpoint of being competent, it's all shown in Tyreek Hill. The way that he has conducted himself has been nothing short of unprofessional. The off-the-field things that they're dealing with due to Tyreek Hill's inability to leave the field and go home and just be a good human being and not cause a stir that's going to be a distraction for your team, or the showing up late to meetings, or the way that you talk about your coaches, or the way that you talk about your quarterback, or even down to today when we were watching the game. It was third down and second and 15. Miami was driving the ball. Tua misses Tyreek on a pass. He was open. I get it. I get the frustration. He throws his hands up. He's whining. He's pouting. He's walking back to the sideline doing this. I don't know if he's telling him to get him out, if he's asking him to take Tua out. But Tyreek Hill, to me, not to just, zero in on him, I think that when you look at this Miami team and you wonder, how is it this way? Tyreek Hill is a great example of how they have just let the ship completely unravel.
Well, let's think about it. Tyreek was one leader, great player on one side of the ball, and Jalen Ramsey was the other last year on the other side of the ball. He would show up on the practice field right before practice started. How are you supposed to win with those guys being the guys other young players are looking to? You can't. By the way, if that Chris Grier job comes open, they got your number on there.
I was going to say.
They got the number. They're going to call you.
Right. We'll keep that on the back burner. Yeah, we'll be very, very clear about it. All right, got to hit a break here. Dolphins no good. Are the Bengals any better? Certainly some concerns for Joe Burrow. Another injury for the quarterback. We will get a vibe check in Cincinnati after the break.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back. even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think?
Tonight's the night. Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado. Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Emotional roller coaster for the Cincinnati Bengals today, taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the two quarterbacks that started the game, but a big scare for the Bengals. Joe Burrow suffering a toe injury. It happened just before halftime. As you take a look at it here, just gets swallowed up by that Jacksonville defense. He immediately points to his toe, lays down, had to be helped off as well, went back to the locker room immediately. So a lot of concern there for Joe Burrow as he heads back to the locker room. But in steps Jake Browning, and listen, it wasn't pretty. He threw 3 picks along the way, but here's what matters most. He powers into the end zone for the game winner there as the Bengals hold off the Jags 31-23. Jake Browning, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and those 3 interceptions.
What can you tell us about Joe Burrow's status?
Nothing right now, to be truthful with you. We got such a tight game. I didn't get all the information yet. So, again, I know where to start for me right now.
Do you know what happened?
No.
So, of course, that was Zach Taylor answering questions about Joe Burrow. We do have news here. The Bengals fear their starting quarterback has a grade 3 turf toe injury, guys. And obviously that is not good news for Joe Burrow. NFL Network is reporting it might require surgery there. 3 months would keep him out. Ran, I know you had a conversation with an athletic trainer earlier today about this. Bring us up to speed when it comes to Joe Burrow.
Okay, so let me put my medical hat on here.
This should be good.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, so I'm pretty good with the medical. But speaking to someone I know that's a trainer, just to get more clarity on these type of injuries. So a turf toe can be treated surgically and non-surgically. The non-surgical part of the turf toe is kind of what Brock Purdy has. And Pete has said Brock Purdy was able to finish the game on his, which was it'll likely be 2 to 5 weeks if you have to sit out non-surgically. But if it requires surgery, then you're going to be out 3 to 4 months. And the big concern for Joe Burrow was not only him being able to not put pressure on it once he got in the locker room, but allegedly was seen on a scooter. And so when I posed that question to the trainer, I got a message back that just said, not good. And this is the news that we're hearing now. So as soon as you got to a point where he could not put pressure on it, because Damian can tell you, a turf toe, typically you put you in a boot. At worst, you use crutches just to keep the pressure off, but you're in a boot and you're still mobile. But the fact that they put him on a scooter and to keep that foot off the ground kind of lean towards that 3 to 4 month area. So it's likely that Burrow will miss the rest of the season, which will now put them in a situation that they got some serious questions to answer.
You know what was on that scooter? Their season was driving away on that scooter.
You sure as hell right, Pete.
You know, and this is true story. We're walking out of the lunchroom before the game started, right when the game started. And remember, Josh Allen got hurt right away. It looked like he hurt his nose early in that game. And I turned to Jamie Eisenberg. I said, if any of these teams with a quarterback like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, whatever, lose that quarterback, their season's over. Then Joe Burrow got hurt. Their season's done.
Jinx.
No, I'm not the jinx. I'm just a realist.
Yeah.
Look, the bottom line is they're done. The Bengals season, Jake Browning did some good things today. He did some bad things. When Joe Burrow was hurt in the past, he did some good things. He did some bad things. Why? He's a backup quarterback in the National Football League. If you lose a franchise-carrying guy like Joe Burrow, your season's over.
Now, let me ask this question. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but this needs to be addressed. At what point, if you're Joe Burrow, do you look at the Bengals and say, enough is enough? Enough is enough, because truly, we can sit here, and Pete, I know you would agree with me in saying this. Joe Burrow is the prolific pocket passer at the quarterback position. He is this generation's Tom Brady, their Joe Montana. He is that guy. They are wasting his prime. If they could just protect Joe Burrow, and we've been talking about this since he left LSU in 2019, if they would just protect him, he could have already had multiple MVP awards. He might have had a Super Bowl by now. His career, as good as it is, would have been so much better. So if I'm Joe Burrow, even if I did have the opportunity to come back this season, why would I? What motivation do I have? Because I'm a guy that's getting paid over $55 million per season, but you cannot make a dedication and a commitment to protect me as an asset of this football team. Not as Joe Burrow, your favorite guy, as the most important asset to this football team. You can't make that commitment. What does that say about how you truly view where we're taking this ship?
Okay, so I'm going to take my medical hat off now and put my GM hat on, because I would then, if you were posing that question to me as Joe Burrow, I would say, would you be willing to give some of the money back? Because we've invested in your receiving core to get you the ball. We spent a ton of draft picks on the O-line to fix that O-line. Now, whether they got the right people or not, that's a completely different conversation. But you're one of the higher paid guys at $55 million a year. If you want to be protected, you got to give us some of this money back so we can now fully invest. And if you're willing to do that, then yes, let's address it. However, we're only going to be able to continue to put young guys in front of you because our money is so tied up between you, your two receivers, and I think the left tackle that they paid from Kansas City. So now the only way for us to build this football team is through the draft. Now, we can get rid of one of your receivers and use that as some trade bait.
A lot of people asked when it came to T. Higgins. A lot of people wanted that.
We can trade one of the receivers. We can get draft capital, and it will free up money for us in the salary cap. So those are all the answers to your question. Which one of those scenarios is for you?
And
so I'll push the paper back.
Well, and I would take this, and if this said, okay, Joe Burrow, we want you to go from $55 million to $45 million.
Nope, not doing it. You never give him my money back.
Okay, so wait, Pete Prisco, the guy that I just compared Joe Burrow to, Tom Brady, the greatest to ever do it, the most Super Bowls, the most everything. What did he do? He took that pay cut. He was never the highest paid quarterback in the league.
There's some talk that maybe he really didn't on the side, if you know what I mean.
Well, but
we're not going to come
We're not going to start getting in here pushing agendas. But what I'm saying is, Joe Burrow, listen, can you sit here and confidently tell me that you think that Joe Burrow cares more about money than winning?
No, I don't believe
Can you tell me that?
I don't believe
No.
that.
Can you tell me that?
No, but I also think that I've obviously never played in the NFL, but like if I got a raise and then you are asking me to give back my money that I earned, and it's a team sport, I get it, but it's my money, and now you're asking me to give my money back so that other people who are not doing their job, I get it.
Yeah, but at the same time, with everything you want in life, you've got to make sacrifices. Am I wrong or am I right? You've got to make sacrifices to get to the goal. Because if you're getting paid $55 million and
if you're getting paid $55 million and they come to you and you're in Joe Burrow's situation and
you're giving back $10 million a year,
you're going to give me back $10 million in order for us to be successful.
If you give me an offensive line that'll protect,
well, they spent money on the left tackle. They drafted a first rounder on the right tackle.
Whoa. What did Josh Allen do? He came out and said he could have broken Buffalo's bank. He could have done that, but he didn't do that because he wanted other guys like James Cook to get theirs, other guys like Khalil Shakir to get theirs.
Say that all you want. And the reality is, just like Tom Brady always said it, we know better than that. Come on, Damon, you know better
Josh
than that.
Allen, the MVP of the league, just
better
did
than
it,
that.
Pete.
You never get, look, rank your. If I go around training camp all the time, you rank them all the time. Money, ring. I mean, Money Hall ring. And money is the most important. He got his money. Now it's up to the Bengals to fix the offensive line in front of him. They paid the left tackle. They drafted the right tackle was drafted in the first round. They drafted a guard this year in the third round who's starting. They put assets into the other positions. They've tried to fix the offensive line. Just hasn't worked. That's not on Joe Burrow. That's on the Bengals.
Well, yeah, but still, again, I'm going to go back to Josh Allen. What did he say? There's no difference between me making $5 million more or $5 million less. I would double down.
He'll think differently when his kids are draining him.
On that and say that when you're making that much money, even $10 million, it doesn't matter if it comes with what comes with giving up that money.
If that doesn't matter, why does everybody fight to the end to try and get $10 million
more? Because not everybody is a quarterback.
Micah Parsons, fight to the end to get $10 million more a year.
Yeah, because that's different. He's not protected the same way a quarterback is.
Let me bring this home. Let me bring this home and say it like this. I think the scenario is different if Joe Burrow had already won a championship.
Okay.
If he's already won a championship, you can make those sacrifices to give up your money to go get other players to surround you with. I think that was where Tom Brady was. He had already won a championship by the time he had gotten paid, and so those things were important to him, so he could make those sacrifices. But when you're climbing, it's like, all right, listen, you have a job to do, I have a job to do, and this is my money, and you have to figure it out. Now, again, to the final point.
No conceivable way he made less money than it.
Because we got to talk about the Jaguars.
Let's just go to
let's go on. Agree to disagree.
The boogeyman's coming soon, too, guys. Be careful. Come on.
Really quick, guys, I want to look at the other side of this matchup. Jaguars dropped to 1-1. How are we feeling about Trevor Lawrence? And, Pete, I'll come to you first, because obviously there were moments. He threw for 271 yards, but there were some interceptions. There was a fight between him and Liam Cohen at one point. Where's your vibe check?
Okay, there were a couple bad throws in that game he made. Should never have made them. He also made some really good throws. One of those interceptions, Brian Thomas, who has become a problem, by the way, didn't run through his route, made a business decision, so to speak. Later in the game, he made another business decision, so to speak. De'Ami Brown dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone that should have been a game clincher, game over. So there were bad and there were good. As far as the sideline thing, I talked to some people. It's not that big a deal.
We have the video of it. I want you, maybe we can react in real time here, because maybe it's a concern. You've got Liam Cohen on the side beating on his chest. It almost is like, listen to me, and Trevor obviously is not paying attention.
Now, Pete Prisco, if you sit here and tell me that you believe whoever told you that this is nothing, you're flat out lying.
I'm going to tell you what that is.
What is that, Pete?
The ball went off of De'Ami Brown's hands, and he wanted it would have been a tough catch, but he should have caught it. He wants the ball down here. That's all that was.
Well, yeah, and the reason why Liam Cohen wants it that way is because he makes him practice it that way every day at practice. So and I'm not saying he shouldn't have caught the ball. By no means am I excusing a drop. All I'm saying is, if I'm a coach and I make you practice something a certain way, and then you go out in the game and you don't do it that way, then it's my job to correct that. It's my job to sit here and tell you, put it on his chest. Even though he should have caught the ball, that doesn't mean that you did your job as well as you could have done your job.
Liam Cohen should worry about his own job. He went for it on 4th down late in the game when he should have kicked the field goal.
Bottom line, even got to your cuts yet. That's later in the show.
But the bottom line is, when you throw a ball here, the guy's supposed to catch it. Liam Cohen's getting a little too emotional because the ball wasn't
so now this is Liam Cohen overstepping by telling a quarterback to do something that he's coached to do every day in practice.
By showing him up on the sideline, that's a bad look.
By telling him to what do you mean that's a bad look? So you never see coaches telling players what to do on the field anymore?
Of course you do. But
what's the difference?
You think this is a little emotional on the sideline?
Well, and this is what I really wanted to get to. You're over here talking about, Trevor Lawrence, he did some bad, he had some good. It's not that bad. Trevor Lawrence doesn't look good. And for a guy that had so much expectation coming out of college, for a guy that has had so much expectation after signing this new deal, after being a guy that we've talked about has the most to prove as a starting quarterback in the NFL, you just said, Pete Prisco, yeah, he had some good throws, he had some bad throws. You know what you said earlier? You said the same thing about Drake Browning, and you said why? Because he's a backup quarterback. So if you can
you think Trevor Lawrence is a backup quarterback?
No, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that he's not playing well if he has some good throws and some bad throws.
Look, the bottom line is the receivers didn't help him out today. They win the game if they catch the ball in the end.
He didn't help himself out by trying to force touchdowns in the back of the end zone.
When we talk about Trevor Lawrence, because I feel you, there does seem to be this conversation with Trevor where there's always a but with the performance, right? Oh, like he had this bad performance, but, or oh, it's this. So after we've seen what he did today against the Bengals, we have the numbers, we have all the history here. how far is the leash before we go another season of saying he's supposed to hit these expectations?
If he doesn't, if they don't play well the rest of the way, there's major questions about him.
They're already not playing well, Pete. They're not.
He didn't play well today?
Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, 24 of 42, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
And one of those interceptions is because Brian Thomas didn't run his route in the middle of the field, correct?
What do you think? Was it a good game?
I feel like, are we? And also, hold on, wait. Pete Prisco is also mentioning that he had another interception taken off the board. But continue.
Right. He also had a touchdown pass taken off the board by dropping the
again. So some good, some bad. Right. That doesn't
every
equate to a
quarterback in this league.
I feel great. I feel like I'm a judge on one of those shows.
We moved you seats, and now we've got
and I get to hear this. I'm almost like a kid listening to both of his parents argue, and I'm just going back and forth. Here's what I'll say about the Jacksonville Jaguars. What is their identity? They don't have an identity.
And it's not a passing team because Trevor Lawrence isn't passing the ball that well.
Well, they were a passing team today because I don't know why they were.
And we talked about it as we were watching the game in terms of situations of why not just run the ball. And so this is where I feel the big question for me is, what is your identity going to be? Trevor Lawrence is talented. Whether he plays well consistently, I'll let you two finish arguing that point.
Damien's got the fan blowing over here. It's
listen, Damien's blood pressure is up.
It is, but I got you.
Listen, folks at home. This is good, healthy banter.
Me and Pete gonna hug it out.
We're gonna woosah.
Yeah.
We're gonna woosah.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
But I just feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars don't have an identity. And you don't know what they're going to be on a week-to-week basis. And I don't think they've had an identity through the crisis of multiple coaches in there. I know what they want to be. They want to be this new modern offense that throws the ball up and down the yard, but it hadn't produced results. And you have your games from Etienne when he's in, and he'll produce and he'll have these big games, and they typically win. But it's not just even on the offense. The defense has to play better. They got a talented front that they've invested draft capital in, that they've paid, but then they've made decisions in the secondary. They have guys in the secondary that can't particularly hold on in coverage. And then you have to figure out, how are you going to play Travis Hunter?
81 plays today, and he did nothing.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure that out. So again, it leads back to the point of, what is your identity as a football team?
Well, last week they ran for over 200 yards, and they didn't run the ball today. Why? I have no idea.
All right. Well, they take on the Texans next week, so we'll give them maybe one more chance for Trevor Lawrence to prove who he is, and we'll have this conversation again next week. The Bengals, meanwhile, will take on the Vikings. I do want to take you guys to Pittsburgh before we wrap up this very spirited conversation. And there was a very specific play at the end of this one that I want to talk to you guys about. Caleb Johnson, the rookie, is back on the kickoff. It goes through his hands. The ball then rolls into the end zone. Caleb's headed to the sideline. Like, he's like, okay, whatever, this is done. But Rand, obviously, if this is a player that you drafted, this is certainly not what you want to see as well. Before we get there, though, let's listen in to Mike Tomlin on his thoughts.
Kickoff, but they recovered. It's poor judgment by a young player.
Is that something you specifically work on in practice?
Every day of our lives.
Enough said there.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Listen, I don't know what profound answer they wanted him to have. Maybe show some tape of the drills that they use. This was just complete lapse of judgment. I don't know if he reverted to college, where if you don't feel the ball, you let it roll and it's dead, and they blow it dead. This is the National Football League. The ball's always live until it's not. And this is what they teach you from the moment you take the field. So this, to me personally, this is where, again, and you were talking about it, Haley, this is a draft pick. So you're not going to cut him. But for me personally, and knowing that he's not playing that big of a piece on offense, for me, he would sit next week. He would sit next week. He
a
would
healthy
be
scratch.
Yes, he would be inactive, and we'll get guys back there that know the rules, that understand how to play this game. Because, again, this is a game of interest. And everything matters. And I think, I don't even remember where we saw.
I think the game was on the line there for that.
Yeah, I think it was, what, a 3-point lead?
Yeah.
It was a 3-point lead at that time. And so now we're talking about a 3-point lead that then turned into a 10-point lead. just off of a poor judgment call from a young player, which shows me that we can't trust you at this point. Not to say you can't earn it back, but in this short time, and especially losing a game the way they did that they should have won, no, we got to sit you and we got to put some guys back there we can trust.
And I want to say this. This should be a message to all young guys that are in college, rookies right now. Your leash is very short. And if you're not a first-round pick, if you're not the top guy at your position, guess where you're going to be? You're going to be on special teams. And if you don't play on special teams, there is no place for you. So to your point, Rand, I'm sure he will be inactive because with no production on offense, you're shown to be a liability on special teams. And there's nothing worse that you can do in the National Football League other than show teams that you're not even willing to be competent on special teams. That is the quickest way to get yourself out of the football or the National Football League.
By the way, the guy who recovered it for a touchdown was a rookie too. So he obviously knew the rule and went and got the ball. And whether he recovered that's a whole other story. It sure didn't look like it.
And again, this is one of those things like I talked about earlier, like the situation with the Broncos. Rules like that, they come up all the time in practice. They come up all the time in meetings. But once live bullets are flying, everything just goes out the window. No, the situations don't come up that often. I haven't seen a situation like that for a returner, and I don't know how long, but when it comes up, you have to know how to handle it. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself in the same situation as Caleb Johnson.
He wouldn't say if he touched it or not either.
All right. Well, would you? Of course not. No. You wouldn't. I will mention as well, there were some pre-draft concerns with Caleb Johnson coming into the conversation whenever he was getting drafted. And so to your point, Rand, it kind of feels like maybe some of that stacks up. We won't cut him yet, but we do have a segment where we're going to cut some people in just a little bit. Got to hit a break here on Game Day Recap. But when we come back, the Lions are back, and so is Dan Campbell. His team gets revenge on their former offensive coordinator. How dominant Detroit was. Next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
No. That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise,
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City on. Superb finish. Oh, that's it! Picks up.
Unbelievable strike.
And that's surely the score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Game Day Recap, and welcome back to the NFL, the Detroit Lions. Nothing like a 50-piece to soothe your soul after a Week 1 loss to a divisional opponent. They hand their former offensive coordinator a 52-21 loss. Detroit has now won 11 straight following a loss. They haven't lost back-to-back games since 2022, and it also marked their third 50-point game in their last 2 seasons. Jared Goff was electric, and we've been electric here at CBS Sports HQ. This is Game Day Recap. Haley Sutton, happy to be joined by Damian Harris, Rand Carthen, and our guy Pete Prisco. And for those of you at home, we also have Sunday Night Football on. It is a true barn burner, 6-3 there, so we'll keep our eye on Sunday Night Football. But I want to turn our attention to the Lions. I mentioned Jared Goff. He had a bounce-back game, those 5 touchdowns. Damian, when you look at what the Lions were able to do today, it obviously felt like last week was kind of a miscue. What did you learn? What were you happy about when it comes to Detroit's win today?
Well, I learned that today was personal for more reasons than one. I mean, first of all, coming off a Week 1 loss, the way that they looked, I know they had a bad taste in their mouth because that's the Detroit Lion of old. That's not the new Detroit Lion identity. And then, of course, facing Ben Johnson. I mean, we saw it at the end of the game. It's 4th and goal. You're up about 4 or 5 scores, and you go for it and you score. They asked Ben Johnson about it at the end of the game. You could tell he didn't like the question, but he had to answer it respectfully. I mean, what do you expect them to do? And they did it because it was personal. Ben Johnson, now the head coach of Chicago, they wanted to put a stamp on the fact that the grass ain't always greener on the other side. And they proved that. I mean, when you've got Jared Goff, when you've got, what they call them, Knuckles and Sonic, when you got them guys, when you got Amon-Ra, when you've got Jameson Williams, you've got just a plethora of weapons, and it's like, this is what you left? You left to go over here? Okay, we're going to show you what you're missing. And then the superstars played like superstars today. So what did I learn, Haley, outside of the fact that today's game was personal? That the Detroit Lions are not going anywhere. They're not a bad football team. Last week was a one-off. I fully expect them to be in the new Detroit Lion fashion that we've seen as of lately.
Listen, before we toss it over to Pete, because I'll speak my piece later.
It's like we have to get you in.
No, on this. Here's what I'll say, and I said this last week. They're a new team. 2 new coordinators, and they're learning how to use the weapons, how to get people involved. John Morton has to learn how to call a game with Jared Goff and these weapons and how to keep everyone into it. And he did that. And then the other part, as we were sitting here and we were in the room and we were watching, I was wondering, maybe they didn't want to put too much out there waiting for Ben Johnson. Like, hey, you're going to hold this 50 burger this week. And trust me, I was on the other end of the other 50 burger that you talked about last year with the Titans. But you said it was personal. And yes, it is personal. Because you know, if you're playing your best friend in a one-on-one game, you want those bragging rights. And you're going to run that person's face into the mud. And Ben Johnson, he may not have liked the question, but he was on the other side of it last year. And it was all fun and games until the rabbit got the gun. I'll just leave it at that.
So wait, so they lost the Packers game so they could save stuff for this?
No, I'm just
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to see where he's going.
They were trying to win. But no, all I was saying was, like, again, they're still learning. John Morton's still learning this football team.
I'm with you. The biggest difference to me today was last week when you watch the tape from the Lions game, their identity has always been the offensive line. Strong, physical, nasty, violent. They were not that last week. Frank Ragnow retired. Graham Glasgow goes to center, wasn't very good. 2 new guards didn't play very well. Sewell didn't play great, and Decker didn't play well. Those are the strengths of the team. This week it looked like, and we haven't watched the tape, but it looked like from the game we watched today, they were much better on the offensive line. That's who they are. You can call a great game when your offensive line can do what they can do, and it looked like it was different today.
What is your take on Ben Johnson on the other side of this one? I know we kind of got the emotional side of it, but is he the savior that Chicago needs?
Well, I mean, it's too early. I mean, we're not going to quit on the guy after 2 games, but
you quit on some people.
What would I quit on?
The Dolphins.
Who? Well, I mean, that's a whole. He's got a body of work already. You give him a couple years like that, and I'll quit on him too.
He just needs an orange jersey.
I mean, look, it just goes to show you that you can't, identify this guy and say he's the savior. He's going to come in and fix it. There's too many problems there, and we saw it today. Here's the other part of the problem. We talk about Ben Johnson and that offense. The defense was awful today. Awful. I mean, they didn't stop anybody. And we go back to the second half of the game against J.J. McCarthy. They weren't great in that game either. So that, to me, is the biggest concern when you look at the Chicago Bears right now.
Another concern for me is Caleb Williams doesn't really look any different right now.
No.
We all thought that, at least with the football mind, the offensive mind that Ben Johnson is, that could help Caleb Williams with some of the struggles he's seen since coming to the National Football League, where the competition is higher. But again, you're looking at the numbers, 19 for 30, 207 yards. I mean, those are numbers that a backup quarterback that can come in and manage the game similar to a Jake Browning. Those are those type of numbers you expect to see. But this is the Heisman Trophy winner. Listen, everybody has expectations. Now, even the bad teams have expectations. When you have the career up to this point that Caleb Williams has had, there are expectations. He hasn't met them yet. We thought pairing him with Ben Johnson would help to elevate him a little bit, but it's still just the same level of inconsistency.
And to me, it's the same question that we were just talking about with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chicago, what's your identity? We know what Ben Johnson's identity is, but do you currently have the team that fits your identity? And so now that's going to be a question for Chicago. They have guys at receiver. They have the 2 tight ends. They have Caleb. And so, but even that, I feel like that's the missing piece of this offense is the running game. And because you have a right tackle that you invested in. Then you invested in the interior of your offensive line, making moves this offseason. So now you need that quality back or 2 that he had, Sonic and Knuckles in Detroit, that you're currently missing in Chicago, which now puts everything on Caleb Williams' plate and for him to be the one to lead this team. And I think right now he isn't up to the task. And so that for Chicago moving forward, you have to figure out what your identity is and be able to address those positions to build this football team.
They invested in a center who didn't fit what they do. They paid him a lot of money, Drew Dahlman. He was terrible in week 1. I haven't seen it today. The right guard was awful last week. I mean, Tooney was good, but the rest of that line was bad. You know what they should do? They should ask Caleb Williams to give back some money so he can get another offensive line. Here, just give it all back and get another offensive lineman.
I will add that there is a positive coming out of that does not require Caleb Williams to give his money back. The partnership with Roma Dunze and what we're seeing out of him growing into that role, his 3rd receiving touchdowns to his first 2 games of the season. So Rome is figuring it out for the Bears. I want to pivot, though, and go over and talk Aaron Glenn, because for as much as we give him credit for trying to revamp this program, the reality is he still has a defense that's giving up 30 points. And I get it. It's against the Bills. You lose your quarterback to a concussion. But, Pete, do we expect any step forward, I guess, when it comes to the Jets now that what you've seen through 2 weeks?
The biggest concern, you mentioned the defense, it wasn't just today. I mean, Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdown passes against them last week. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. The identity, you talk about a team identity of the Jets with Aaron Glenn was supposed to be a physical, tough, nasty defense. And so far, they haven't come close to that. And so that's the biggest good. Look, we know offensively, because of the quarterback position, they're going to be limited. That's what they are. Justin Fields can make a play, can run. He struggles sometimes throwing the football consistently. And look, they're going to start looking for a quarterback. That's what they're going to do. But they figured they could play defense and run the ball and keep themselves in games. They haven't played defense yet. And with Aaron Glenn being the head coach, that's the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, playing against the Jets, I felt like they always had an identity. Whether they were good or they're bad, they at least had an identity. And it was going to be a tough defense to go against. And I don't know if this even correlates, but when C.J. Mosley retired from the Jets, that's when it felt like their defense just kind of unraveled. I look at their defense, I'm like, who is the leader? I mean, I know I've said this about other teams, but Quinnen Williams, a guy that has been paid, he's been all-pro, he's been a Pro Bowler. Again, that's a guy that I look to be a leader. I'm not really getting that.
Quiet.
Yeah, he's been quiet. Even his brother, Quincy, quiet. Another guy, Pro Bowler, should be making an impact. Very quiet. Like there's no impact makers or no difference makers right now.
Sauce should be a leader too, and
he should be, and he's not. They're just not. And it seems like a team full of players that are uncertain. Although their coach Aaron Glenn may be positive about what he wants to do, but again, the players are just uncertain. And even with Justin Fields at quarterback, I mean, he obviously looks uncertain whenever he's dropping back to throw the football. They don't look like they know what they want to do as far as running the ball with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. I mean, it's just a lot of confusion, and it's weird because it doesn't seem like confusion on the coaching part. It's just the players.
I will pose this question. Do we feel like this Jets defense has taken a step back?
Yes.
With the change in scheme and coordinate, because to me that's the biggest thing, right? You come into this first year as Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn, a new regime, new staff. So essentially what you'd like to do when you're building a new organization is you'd like to accentuate what you do well while you rebuild on the other side, right? Which is they're trying to rebuild on offense and add pieces here and there. However, a lot of these pieces on defense aren't technically their guys or true scheme fits for what they want to do. So you have good players, but they're learning a new way of doing things that may not coincide with what their skill set and this scheme requires.
But plus, they went out right before the season and got Phillips because they were worried about their defensive tackle position, and so they clearly were unsettled. By the way, if we want to blame anybody for all the Jets mess, let's blame Rick Spielman, okay? He used to sit right in that seat.
Right,
we'll blame him.
This is exactly why in the previous segment where he was trying to put my name out there for the next Dolphins GM, I kept it quiet because I know if that opportunity or any opportunity presented itself, he'll be sitting right here trying to get me fired.
He will. Right as rain.
I'll be your teammate. Okay. We'll be here together. How about that?
All right, we're going to pivot and talk Ravens. Another strong offensive performance from Baltimore here. There were some questions, I guess, on the other side of this one, and we're going to kind of walk you through it because Myles Garrett felt a little disrespected when it came to the spread on this one. It was, I believe, minus 11.5. So we're just going to walk you through it. Let's listen in to Myles Garrett pregame on NFL Today Plus.
You pay attention to the lines and the spreads, and you felt disrespected this week. Is that right?
Absolutely. 2-score underdogs going into a game where we've won, I believe, 2 of the last 3 matchups is, wildly disrespectful, and we take that to heart.
Wildly disrespectful. I'm going to read you some stats about the Cleveland Browns today. They start the season 0-2 for the first time since 2017. That year they finished 0-6. They've now lost 5 straight divisional games and 8 straight games overall. And after the game, Myles Garrett called it embarrassing, Damien. It's hard to talk and say what you said in the pregame and then go out and put out this performance. What's the biggest issue that you're seeing?
Before you pass it along to him, I want to pass this fan along to Damien before he gets hot.
Listen.
Before he gets hot with what he's about to say.
I'm going to keep this nice and cool. I'm going to keep this nice and breezy, right? Here's the thing. First of all, the spread might have been a little bit too respectful. We're talking about disrespect. It clearly was with a lot of respect. A lot. Another thing that we got to address, you can't go out there and talk about how embarrassing it was after, in the beginning, you said this is an insult. Well, you were a part of the problem. Now, granted, Myles Garrett does Myles Garrett things. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm not saying he doesn't increase the Browns' chances of winning. But, my boy, if you weren't out there tackling nobody, get something going. I don't even really want to try to analyze this too much. This is just a simple case of don't let your mouth write a check that your ASS can't cash. Because if you do, then you just look like a fool. And I hate it for Myles Garrett because he's not a fool. He's a good football player. He's a great guy. But at the end of the day, you went out, you said some stuff before the game, you didn't back it up, and then after the game, now you're sitting here like, damn, I'm embarrassed.
Well, he had a sack and a half, so he did it. He did
it.
He might want to point to the quarterback because the quarterback was awful today, and which brings up the next question about do they make a change within the next 5-6 weeks? Or when do you make a change? Because Dylan Gabriel came into the game and he did some things late in the game. So clearly the Browns aren't going anywhere this year. We all agree on that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so if they're not going anywhere, don't they have, if you drafted Dylan Gabriel, don't you have to find out what he is rather than have a 40-year-old quarterback play? Particularly he's going to play the way he did today?
Well, I think no matter what, at some point throughout this season, you're going to have to see these other quarterbacks play because that's going to allow you to build your team for the future. You're sitting there with 2 first-round draft picks next year, and based off of your record, it's going to determine if you're going to be in position to take one of these college quarterbacks. And so at some point during this season, you're going to have to find out who these other guys are because you know Joe Flacco isn't your future.
Well, we know that Dylan Gabriel went 3 of 3, had 19 yards and a touchdown in this one. So maybe things heating up.
Garbage time
for Joe Burrow. It was garbage time. But hey, more conversations to be had on Sunday mornings. Make sure you lock into NFL Plus, NFL Today Plus, I should say, streaming every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern with Amanda Guerra and the guys.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter.
Dexter.
What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City A. Superb finish. Pull inside. Picks up.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
It is time for everybody's favorite segment here on Game Day Recap. It is time for Pete Prisco to put someone on the chopping block. I said it last week. He's got that apron, got his chef's hat, and he is. Damien, your thoughts? You didn't get to see this last week.
No, this is news to me, but I like it. I like it already.
By the way, I'm not the one who does the cutting or the chopping. Last week they said I'm the assistant, the general manager's assistant. No, I'm not. I'm not getting him coffee or anything like that. I'm assistant to the general manager. I bring
those small man trophies.
I bring the information to him, and he decides if he's going to cut him or not. And the thing that's getting cut today is the damn kickoffs. I can't stand the crap, the landing zone. Oh, if it goes here, it comes out to the 40. If it goes there, it comes to the 30. And then the kid leaves the ball sitting there because obviously he gets confused by all the rules. Can we just finally, please, can we do away with the damn kickoff? If they want to make it safe for the players, put the ball at the 30-yard line and let's play football. Get rid of the damn kickoff. And if you really got to keep the kickoff in there, go back to the old ways. Kick the damn ball out of the end zone and go play football.
You want the 3-man wedge, huh?
Yeah, why not?
So let me clear up.
Guys get hurt.
Let me
play
clear
football.
Yeah, you run them into the ground, you cut them, you draft somebody.
Exactly.
The Pete Prisco routine. We know.
Let me clear up Pete's title and role in the hierarchy of the organization.
Please.
He is the guy in the organization that brings me all of these grandiose ideas, and then when I proceed forward with them, I get fired. And he comes in with he comes in with the new regime. He stays with the old.
If you listen to my ideas, you're going to get a big raise.
All right, so that's the presentation. We want to get rid of the new kickoff rules. Rand, what do you think?
I'm not quite ready to get rid of it yet. I think they're tinkering the rules. It was a different set of rules last year. I think they're trying to find a happy minimum. It all goes back to that Super Bowl where we saw no kickoff returns in that Super Bowl. And the kickoff return and kickoff can be an exciting part of our game. Like Damien said, it's another opportunity for guys who aren't playing offense and defense to have the opportunity to play a game and make a name for themselves. And how many guys have gone through this league, the Dante Halls and the Brian Mitchells and Devin Hester, All these guys were dynamic returners because we had this as a part of our game.
They were good punt returners too, by the way.
Yeah, but that was just one way for them to score versus having multiple.
Come on, man. Give the guys a chance, Pete.
I'm not quite ready to get rid of the kickoff yet. I do think we need to find some different ways to get it done because we're saying this is all in the name of safety and health.
Okay, so that one gets shot down, Pete. Real quick, Damien, because we got to go to break. But since you were not here last week, who's your cut of the week? Who are you cutting?
Well, I think this would be obvious if you watch the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles play. Jawan Taylor's got to go. I mean, this is about as piss poor of a football player that I've seen in quite some time. Like, and I'm just being honest.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell me if I'm wrong. Any three of y'all, tell me if I just told a lie. It might have been harsh.
I would use the word piss poor, but certainly some improvements.
I haven't seen one good set. I haven't seen one good run block. I haven't seen anything but penalties. He is the most penalized player by a landslide since he got in the league. He can't run block. He doesn't move his feet. He grabs, he holds, he blocks in the back. He does everything that you're coached not to do. And the fact that they let him keep doing it game after game after game without at least putting somebody else in there to say, hey, we just need to cut down on the penalties so we can have a chance to win the football game.
They paid Jalen Moore to play left tackle. He's also worked at right tackle. That could be something that could be making a change.
If you fast forward, Rand, are we good? Are we there?
I'm
putting you up against it. We're tight on time.
Can you tell him to bring his iPad?
There we go. Tell him to turn that iPad in.
A gator cut the gator, by the way.
I love it.
Got to get him out of there. All right, so there's our cut. Pete Prisco's does not pass, but we are getting rid of the offensive lineman there in Kansas City. All right. We're about to wrap up the show here on Game Day Recap. Of course, we are doing it talking about the Cowboys, who I'm cutting, who my winners and losers are, after this.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened.
So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise,
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming on the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City on. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado. Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Back here to wrap things up on Game Day Recap. It is time for our winners and losers Week 2 edition. We're going to start with my winner. It's Brandon Aubrey. No surprise. I'm going to America's team here. I think what Brandon Aubrey, despite the game plan that you think they should have, I love the game plan. Let him get out there, kick those 60-yarders, and prove everyone wrong. So Brandon Aubrey is my winner. Damian, who is yours?
Today, my winner's got to be the New England Patriots. First of all, your first win for head coach Mike Vrabel is against a team that you haven't beat in God knows how long, especially in Miami. Going all the way back to the Miami Miracle, it is known that Miami is a tough place to play for the New England Patriots. Drake may look great. The running back showed today that they are the best position group on the team. They might have some things rolling down in New England. I like to see them keep it going, but they're my winner for today.
And for me, I'm going to go with Detroit offensive coordinator John Morton. 511 total yards today. Jared Goff threw for 5 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams both went over 100 yards receiving, and they had a 50-burger. But most importantly, he beat his former boss in Ben Johnson, so I'm rolling with John Morton.
Ben who?
Real quick, before you get to yours, I know right before you wanted to go Lions. I told you couldn't talk Lions because Rand already had the offensive coordinator, but what stood out to you? Why did you want to change?
Well, everything he just said. I mean, Jared Goff, 23 for 28, 334 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 carries, 94 yards, a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 receptions, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, another 100 yards, another touchdown. And defensively, granted, you give up 52, or you score 52 points, you only give up 21. Granted, I know that wants to be 0. But at the end of the day, they know Ben Johnson's a good coach. They knew he'd score some points, but they got the job done. The Detroit Lions look good today.
And my winner is the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
You go on the road 2 weeks in a row to open the season and win those games, and one of them came with a backup quarterback. Now, granted, it's the New Orleans Saints, but they went to Seattle and beat Seattle, too. You open the season 2-0, and everybody before the season was saying, oh, this team's, I don't know about this team. They're still star-laden. They played today without one in Brock Purdy, and they still found a way to win a game. And George Kittle also not playing. That's a good sign for the 49ers going forward.
Mac Jones today, 26 of 39, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was his first career game with more than 250 passing yards and more than 3 touchdowns. So a career day for him. And you want to jump in?
I do just have to say, because Pete Prisco called me a homer, I'm always going to be a Mac Jones homer. Shout out to my boy Mac 10 for getting it done today. I'm proud of you, boy.
Great game for a backup quarterback.
How far can he take it, you think, though?
Hopefully they get Brock Purdy.
I almost called you something that really would have went bad.
Hopefully they get Brock Purdy back soon.
Okay, all right. I think we've got Mac Jones stats up here when we look at it. The Mac is back. Mac Jones, who?
215, 330.
Okay.
That's an aberration when you look at when you consider the norm. That's an aberration. Come on,
man. He looked better than Trevor Lawrence today.
All right, let's get to losers.
Did you see him last year?
Let's get too spicy.
No, I'm going off what I saw
Losers.
today.
Who's the losers, Pete?
Pete, give me your loser. Who is your loser today?
Broncos defense. I mean, look, before the season, we were talking about how great this defense was going to be across the board, dominant. And I know Patrick Surtain got banged up today, but he went back in the game and he played. You're accountable. They got pushed around in the front 7 by the Colts. The Colts ran the ball. Jonathan Taylor ran the ball. Daniel Jones looked like Peyton Manning. That should never happen to the Broncos. Remember all that talk? They're ready to ascend to a Super Bowl team. They better start playing better on that side of the ball.
Brian?
For me, I went with the New York Jets offense. You had 154 total yards. You were 0 for 11 on third down.
God, dog.
And you averaged 2.1 yards per play in the passing game.
Abysmal. To say the least.
Where's your concern when it comes to Justin Fields? Of course, picked up the concussion. The offensive numbers weren't great. To Pete's point, sometimes he can be the guy, but others you get days like this.
To me, it's yes, you have questions with Justin Fields, but it's your defense. Your defense, like Pete said earlier, you're giving up 30 points a game. And so you're expecting this Justin Field-led offense to score 30-plus points a game. And we know how hard that is to do in the National Football League. And so, to me, it doesn't all fall on Justin Fields. This defense needs to step up.
Damian, who's your loser?
Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, you just lost Joe Burrow potentially for the season. You got no hopes. You're not going to the playoffs. You're not going anywhere this year but to Cancun on the first trip out.
All right.
By far the biggest loser.
Here's what I say, and I know we're short for time. Cincinnati only ran the ball 17 times today. That needs to change with this change of quarterback.
Got to change. My loser is the rest of the Dallas Cowboys because we shouldn't be taking the New York Giants to overtime, but I rest my case. Oh, this was so much fun, and we get to do it each and every week. For Pete Prisco, Rand Carthen, Damian
Where's
Harris.
Rand?
I'm in, and we still got to get Rand on the program.
I sent that picture in.
Make sure you join us every Sunday, 8:30.
There's only 3 of us. We'll get more airtime.
Maybe next week we'll have Rihanna. You'll have to join us next week to find out.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened.
So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado. Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Let's get you caught up with the latest HQ headlines. We're going to start in college football. 2 head coaches lost their job on Sunday. First, UCLA firing Deshaun Foster just 3 games into his second season. The Bruins are off to an 0-3 start. They were dominated by New Mexico in a 35-10 loss on Friday in LA. Tim Skipper, who is the special assistant to Foster, will be the interim coach for the remainder of this season. Elsewhere, Virginia Tech fired head coach Brent Pry after a grisly 0-3 start. The latest defeat came at home to Old Dominion on Saturday. Pry finishes his tenure in Blacksburg with a 16-24 record over 4 seasons. Offensive coordinator Philip Montgomery will serve as the interim. And over to baseball, the Phillies clinched their 4th consecutive postseason berth thanks to the Giants losing to the Dodgers. Earlier on Sunday, Philly lost to the Royals. Their magic number to clinch the NL East remains at 1. The Phillies are the 2nd team to clinch a playoff spot after the Brewers. Things not looking good for quarterback Joe Burrow. The latest on his injury after he goes down in this one. Our Marty Jeromelo going to break it down for us at the top of the hour.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can't always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened.
So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Street's always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish. Oh, that's it! Mix of it.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Well, it looks like the Bengals may be without starting quarterback Joe Burrow for an extended period of time. Burrow left Sunday's game against the Jags in the second quarter with a turf toe injury and did not return. According to reports, if surgery is necessary, Burrow would be expected to miss up to 3 months. And from where we're now joined by CBS Sports injury analyst Marty Jeromelo on the heels of Joe Burrow's recent injury. And Marty, he was seen post-game wearing a walking boot. He had crutches, avoiding any weight on that left foot, as it's feared it is called now turf toe. But we've seen players with turf toe miss a handful of games. But what is the degree of this injury that it would differentiate him from maybe just immobilization and rehab versus now needing surgery?
Well, Kiana, absolutely great questions. Listen, despite the win, Bengal fans still haven't taken a full deep breath just quite yet. So Joe Burrow, while trying to avoid a sack, got caught under the pile and sustained a turf toe injury on his left side. Well, let's break that down. Turf toe is a tear of the underside of the ligaments of the big toe. So if this is a foot, it'd be the underside of the ligament. So it's a hyperextension injury. Extremely painful. It significantly affects running, push off, change direction. And why is it so important? Well, 60 to 70% of our body weight is supported by that big toe. Surgery is quite rare, but these ligaments still need to heal. So I fully expect them to miss between 3 and 6 weeks. Now, there's a little bit of a litmus test at about week 3. What is that? At about week 3, they actually customize an insole for his cleat that has a steel plate on the undersurface of his foot to basically offload that big toe. Now, when they test him with that steel plate, if he still has instability and pain with running and push-off, unfortunately, then he still needs time to rest. So that's a real litmus test at about week 3. But like I said, great sign, and you said it as well, that he was walking full weight, going into the locker room, and then in a boot after that. I mean, listen, as we know, there are injury timelines, and then there are Joe Burrow injury timelines. So you never bet against Joe Cool.
Okay, with that being said, because we know they're talking about surgery, and you talked about the litmus test happening between 3 and 6 weeks. What does that timeline look for, like you said, a guy like Joe Burrow, considering he's a quarterback? Is this number you're giving us, this range, is it optimistic, is it realistic, or is it maybe a little bit conservative when you're considering the type of player Joe Burrow is?
Yeah, without question, 3 to 6 weeks is optimistic. Those ligaments, when they tear, are extremely, extremely painful. But let's also think another little point that we forget. Football cleats have a very hard plastic bottom, right? A plastic shell. Inherently, that hard plastic shell really protects the undersurface of the foot. So you can imagine the amount of force needed to not only break through that kind of plastic shell, but also then affect the joint. So we take that, basically almost take that for granted. So 3 to 6 weeks is optimistic, but I feel good about that because it is Joe Burrow. However, like I said, surgery is rare. It really is rare. And also on video, we didn't see the type of severity that we would normally see with turf toe injuries that do require surgery.
Okay, now when you talk about it might not have been to that point where surgery is needed, how are you, from what you're seeing, just when you see that play and how everything took place, how can you kind of differentiate whether surgery might be needed or whether this is something that it's rehab, immobilization, so on and so forth? What is that? What's that difference maker between the two?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. They actually got him an MRI very, very quickly because they were concerned, obviously franchise player and all that. But the MRI, without question, confirmed the ligament tears on the undersurface of the foot. Now, surgery is never route one, okay? It's always down the road if we need it. So they're going to be very conservative, immobilize them for a number of weeks, allow the ligaments to heal, avoid push-off that would stress those ligaments on push-off, and work on pain, swelling, range of motion, etc. on the conservative side. Now, when they start to implement the weight bearing, the push-off, that's when they really will know if the extent of these ligament tears, right, really might require surgery. Once again, it is rare. But that's a really great question because we start conservative always. Unlike an ACL, we know we're going to surgery. Always try to repair this first. Why? Those ligaments are very strong on the undersurface of the foot. Remember what I said, 60% of our body weight are supported by that big toe. So once he starts to stress it, then we will know if it's going to be short-term or really long-term. We just don't know yet, despite an MRI earlier today.
So we understand how this turf toe comes about, but I just want to throw out a really quick one for you. Say they do go the route of surgery, which you said is rare. Is there still a possibility that something like this can return for a player?
Oh, listen, because it is rare, once it's repaired, it heals stronger than it ever was. He will have that supportive insole long-term without question, but I don't expect any kind of, not only short-term, the short-term essentially would be the time off from surgery. I expect no long-term issues at all. Plenty of players have had it despite it being rare, but they'll have that extra layer of protection with that customized insole. That would be about, if he does have surgery, about 3 months out. He'd still come back for the second half of the season. And as we saw today, man, that Bengal culture, it's next man up. They didn't even blink. He went out, they didn't even blink. Impressive, no, indeed.
Absolutely. I'm quite certain, though, regardless if it's next man up or not, Bengals fans hoping that it's on that shorter end, surgery not required for Joe Burrow, hoping to get him.
Trying to send some good news.
Exactly. As always, Marty, we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. So keeping fingers crossed, say Joe Burrow's back within 3 weeks. Well, coming up, they've got a meeting with the Vikings, Broncos, and then the Lions. That 3-week range right there, but they follow that up with meetings with the Packers and Steelers. We did talk about surgery. That would keep him out up to 3 months, potentially. Might be there for the back end of this schedule. But as of now, fingers crossed, Burrow on the lighter side of this turf toe injury.
Here Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened.
So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise,
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Street's always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City On. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tong skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Bills and the Jets on CBS. Bills fresh off scoring 16 unanswered the final 4 minutes of that thriller against Lamar and the Ravens. First fourth quarter comeback of 15 points or more since 1967, but 17 is often the operative number with this team. Early first, Josh Allen takes off, chewing up yardage, 40 yards before being tackled, just swatting at defenders. Later in the drive, James Cook, get that man in the end zone. 7-0 Bills early, a sign of things to come. Cook, the first Bills running back with a rushing touchdown in 6 straight since Rob Riddick in 1988, but you remember. Bills next drive, 2nd and 7 from their own 23. Allen again doing it himself and gets dinged up in this one. Maybe a little too much Canelo Crawford a night ago. He's leaking. Blood coming out of Allen's nose. He'd get worked on for a few plays. That meant Mitch Trubisky, who comported himself nicely. We'd see him again later in this game for other reasons. Second quarter now, Cook takes the handoff, and is that just bad tackling, Mac? What are we looking at here?
Bad tackling, poor angles, led to a big-time play by Mr. James Cook.
20-3 headed into half. Make one miss, make two miss, and do the rest. Josh says, chill, man. Start of the fourth, now 23-3 Bills. Former Jet Elijah Moore wants more. Runs it in for the 5-yard touchdown. Bills go on to win this one easy. 30-10 is your final, a 2-0 start. Such is the way of Josh Allen. It's how they finish, and the Jets are finished with this Sunday. We need see no more. Allen, 14-25 for a $148 and 59 rushing yards to boot. Plenty from across the board in this Buffalo Bills effort. All right, it wasn't good for the Jets. We don't need to belabor the point, but
Well, we're going to.
we're gonna. We're going to outline it. We must highlight the inefficiency. 54 yards, the fewest pass yards in a home game since 2000, the second fewest behind only a woeful performance more than a decade ago.
Well, first off, how is the nose feeling?
It's feeling great. We're good to go.
Well, we could see you took a hard hit there, I'm sure. Worried about the swelling. Any x-rays in your future?
I'm sure they're going to ask me to, but I typically decline. We'll figure it out.
Of course you do. Well, let's just talk about the start of this game. A lot of talk about the defensive injuries coming out flat. How about the way this team set the tone early on?
It was unbelievable. Our defense had a lot of juice at the beginning, obviously setting us up with some good field position there early. Now we got to do a better job of converting when we get down there, stop kicking field goals and more touchdowns, but proud of how our guys ran the ball today. You know, we knew we had to run it. They knew we were running, and we were able to do it.
That was going to be my next question. 225 rushing yards. How much was it all about letting James Cook just be James Cook and Cook?
Yeah, I mean, we ran the same play quite a few times. You know, trusting our guys up front. James is doing a good job of finding the hole and hitting it hard. And, yeah, when you have success like that, no need to get away from it.
Quick turnaround. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Go Bills.
And for more from MetLife, we're pleased to take you back out to the site where the lead analyst of the NFL on CBS, Tony Romo, joins us now. Tony, the result here may be representative of the different echelons these two teams currently occupy. What did you make of specifically Buffalo's performance today?
Well, I thought they systematically came out and did what they really wanted to, which was to impose their will, and they just made the game simple. And they didn't ask Josh Allen to be a hero. Some games you need him. But this is the sign of a really good football team where they could just go right downhill and say, we're just a little bit better than you guys are right now and really a lot better today. And I thought for the concern, the emotional letdown from the Bills side after that big win, it actually looked the other way, where the Jets almost had that little emotional letdown.
Some of the groupthink throughout the week, maybe the nitpick, the thread you're going to pull at if you're going to pull at one in Buffalo is it says Josh in bold at the top of that call sheet maybe a little too often. The fact that the personnel group goes out there and performs the way they did. What do you make of this two deep as you have it in front of you here for the Buffalo Bills this season?
I just think they got depth, and I think they did a great job in the offseason of getting their team to handle, because some of the injuries that have affected them in the past where I think I was impressed, even though they gave up a ton of yards to the Ravens, they had the ability to stay with, you know, some of the receivers. They got more speed. The depth up front is going to serve them really well. If Joey Bosa stays healthy, this is going to be a very tough team to beat come playoff time.
Maybe a olive branch to the team in green if we can find one. I'm not sure if that's the direction we take it, but week one we saw a Justin Fields ceiling that maybe we hope for, and here in week two obviously ends in injury, but
yeah,
we maybe saw the floor. How do you explain the relationship between that ceiling and floor right now for the quarterback?
Well, you want to see consistency. So you want to see last week's performance at least have some more of that. I think today it's a tough one because the challenge is this defense does a great job disguising where to start with your eyes. And I think that got Justin Fields, so he got off things a little bit too quickly. They didn't utilize his legs quite as much as they probably could have. But give the Bills credit. They literally had a great plan. Some of the corner blitzes on early downs put them behind the chains where they became one-dimensional. And that's not the recipe for success for them. But you just got to see it a little bit more tighter. You missed too many throws that were open today.
Wasn't the most exciting game in the world, but Tony, you told me a couple weeks ago as we sat down, you found the joy in it all. And joy here in a moment for Jim Nantz, 40 years in the booth. You give him our best as well.
You got it, buddy. It was great. He's the best.
Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, and Tracy Wolfson, the A-team, taking us through another one here, and it's a dominant Buffalo Bills performance in this one. James Cook, not necessarily getting to those Josh Jacobs numbers just yet, but consecutive games with a rushing touchdown. Cook, now 6 and counting. Comprehensive effort here on the road from the Bills, who improved to 2-0.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened.
So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Street's always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway in this massive clash at City High. Superb finish. Picks up it.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely this will end tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
So with the Astros' loss, Mariners, they can take sole possession of first place in the AL West with a win. Bottom one, Cal Raleigh driving this one to left and that one just over the wall for a 2-run homer. His MLB leading 54th of the year. Matches Mickey Mantle for the most home runs by a switch hitter in a season. The Mariners roll to the 11-2 win and take sole possession of first in the AL West.